Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for Ugh, why did it just bleep me? All I said was I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
God damn it! Honey, what the happened to my action figure collection?
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger. The date is November 28th, 2024. But by the time you guys see this, it will be 29th. But I hope you guys had a good American Thanksgiving. Those of you in the US, hope you guys had lots of turkey and family, fun time, and all that stuff. Here, well, we already had our Thanksgiving last month, so for me, it was just another day. In fact, I spent most of the day being kind of sick. I went and got my flu shot and the latest COVID vaccine yesterday. So I had two shots in one day, both of them in one arm. So needless to say, my left arm is pretty much uh, being tortured today. And last night, I actually ended up with a fever and been feeling kind of wonky all day long. But the pharmacist did warn me that this may happen, so I'm not too concerned. Anyway, the show must go on. In front of you, you're looking at a 30 years old action figure. This is Cosmic Angela from the Spawn line. I believe I got her in 1995, might be 96. Um, yeah, I think she was from series 2 of McFarlane's Spawn back in the 90s. Back then, of course, I thought she was a hell of a cool action figure. She's kind of showing her age now, but still, when you remember the kind of figures we were getting in the 90s, this was really, really, really good. Now, we are not going to look at Spawn today, or Cosmic Angela for that matter, but we are using Cosmic Angela to open the show because we are going to be looking at another character with the name Angela. I don't know why I have so many Angela action figures. I actually, personally, I have a bit of a negative bias toward the name Angela because one of my ex-girlfriends was named Angela and she actually cheated on me, and it was not a very good relationship. And anyway, I am not going to go into all that for you guys. I'm just going to say, not a big fan of the name Angela, even though once upon a time I loved the hell out of that name. But the Angela we're going to be looking at today is from the Gargoyles show back in the 90s as a Disney cartoon with Gargoyles. And it was and still is one of my all time favorite animated shows. One of these days, I'm going to go back and rewatch the whole thing. Uh, but for now, uh, I still remember how much I enjoyed it back when I watched it as a child. It was actually surprisingly mature for a cartoon, not like in an X-rated kind of way. get your minds out of the gutter. It was mature in the way characters were handled. They were convincing, believable, complicated. They have uh, realistic motive, realistic actions, and more adult demeanors rather than, you know how when you watch like Ninja Turtles or Thundercat or He-Man, uh, they all, no matter good guys, bad guys, all acted so juvenile and one-dimensional. Well, in Gargoyles, it was not like that. In Gargoyles, characters have pros and cons, negative and positive to every character, and so the hero's not always a hero, and the bad guy is not really a bad guy, that kind of stuff. Anyway, rather than going on and on about the show, let's look at the package of Angela, and then we'll come back and I'll talk a little bit about her backstory. As far as her packaging goes, Angela's packaging is basically just the same as all the other gargoyles. It's pretty large. The inside of the flap features an illustration of the character. The bio on the back is that generic bio of the Gargoyle series. Tell you nothing about the character. I actually have to look it up on the wiki. So I wish they would put a little bit more effort into putting in the character bio. I believe the box insert is the same insert all the other gargoyles have too, just that city landscape. So, who is Angela? Well, first let me confess, I never did finish watching the whole Gargoyles show. One of my regrets of my childhood. I got distracted by unstable family matters, and my cartoon watching days were over with rather abruptly. But anyway, I never did get to the part where Angela appeared in the show. So what I can tell you is only from what I can read from the Wikipedia or the fan wiki page on the internet. But from what I gathered, Angela is the daughter of Goliath and Demona. So some of you that remember the show, Goliath is the main hero, the leader, gargoyle leader, uh, big and strong and stoic and overly serious and all that stuff. And then Demona used to be his mate and now is one of the main villains in the show. So basically, Goliath is having issue with his ex-wife, and his ex-wife is now the main villain. I told you that show was a lot more mature than most other shows. Uh, so Goliath and Demona had a child, and the child grew up in on a mystical island called Avalon, um, and this child named Angela. So Angela grew up on this island where human and gargoyles coexisted and everybody's fine. They live like medieval England. They live like with a um, middle age uh, Christian values and like chivalries and knights and gargoyles, of course. And so when Angela finally met her father and the rest of her family, of course, she ended up moving to New York with them. She was totally not used to why human in the rest of the world afraid of and hate gargoyles. She had a hard time adjusting to that because in her naivete, she's used to growing up in that world where humans and gargoyles coexist and they see each other as normal and it's okay for human and gargoyle to have relationship and stuff like that. Uh, so from what I gather, a big part of her story is this um, teenage female gargoyle adjusting to the outside world and trying to find her place in the world and among some of her own people. Uh, and personality wise, she's this naive, uh, kind, cute, uh, but also strong and brave. Your typical warrior princess mentality. So basically, I call her the warrior princess gargoyle. That's kind of the how my brain interpret this character. Um, she looks kind of like her mother, Demona. Like even in the action figure form, they share a lot of the same parts. They're built the same way. Um, but her skin color is lavender, more like her dad, Goliath. And her personality, for the most part, is kind and uh, serious and introspective like her father. But when she gets pissed off, she has kind of a really bad temper like her mom as well. So she's a kind of a interesting character to insert into the gargoyle universe as a someone who is uh, naive and yet adventurous and um, discovering herself, and she ended up dating uh, another gargoyle called Broadway. I believe we might have looked at Broadway before on this channel. I know I have shown Broadway on the one of the quick videos, like one of the shorts I made. So Broadway and Angela ended up becoming a couple, and uh, I think the show kind of ended before people could find out what became of that later. That's pretty much all I know about Angela as far as her biography goes. Um, Nothing too complicated. Basically, uh, a young female gargoyles whose parents split up, and now her dad is a good guy, her mom is a bad guy, and she's all confused, and she's trying to find her place in the world. Now, before I actually talk about the figure, let's look at the figure, some of the photos I took with the figures and her accessories. I don't know how many of you remember that Aliens, I think it's the 40th anniversary Alien figure where the alien came with all stages of the alien life form. You got the egg and the face hugger and the chest burster and then the adult alien. Well, this Angela action figure is kind of like that. You get an egg and then a baby Angela and then the adult Angela. So you basically get Angela in all cycles of her life, um, which is pretty cool. Other than that, she comes with 4 additional hands, 2 different face plates for expression, uh, and of course the wings and her tail. But I don't count those as accessories because you kind of need those to complete her. That's part of the character. Um, she doesn't come with any cool weapons or additional things to hold or stuff like that. So on paper, it doesn't seem like she comes with a lot, but when you actually start messing around with the egg and the baby Angela, it's actually quite fun. Honestly, when I first opened this figure, I was actually kind of disappointed because there's no cool big weapon or book or sunglasses or food or all that cool accessory like the other gargoyles got. I was thinking, oh wow, that's crazy. She's one of the smaller stature gargoyles, and yet she barely comes with anything. But then I got her egg. Well, not her egg, but well, the egg that used to be her. Let's put it that way. I got the egg and the baby uh, out of the package, and I started playing around with them. And the egg could you can open it up and like this. You can open it up and you can actually use this to store her extra hand and her extra face. She comes with two faceplates, one regular expression, one angry, mad, like eyes glowing red and mouth open, showing her fangs. Uh, that's the expression I usually display my gargoyles as. All my gargoyles look angry as mad as hell on the shelf. I think I prefer my gargoyles to be fierce and warlike. Um, she also have clawed hand and fisted hand, and there's even one hand with like a trigger finger. I don't know why. I'm not sure if she's supposed to like use a gun in the show or not. Um, so there's that, and then there's a baby Angela. This is like super cute. Okay, this baby Angela. This is how she used to look when she got out of the egg, I guess. Well, I'm pretty sure when she got out of the egg, she wasn't wearing the loincloth, but maybe they had figured they have to put that on for modesty's sake. But this could have been just a lump of plastic. A lot of other companies would have just done this as like a lump of plastic. Super 7, I'm looking at you. Okay? Uh, Hasbro, I'm looking at you. A lot of those companies, when they make something this small, they just like, okay, we'll just cast it in rubber and then give it to them. But this is actually articulated, like the arms is on ball joint. She can open wide for a hug. She can bring her arm up. Um, Her head is on a ball joint. Wiggle, 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 not up and down. Her wings, ball joint. You can flap her wings. Legs, ball joint. Can do the split. Although if you open her up too wide, her legs going to pop off. That happened already. She can kick forward, kick back. Super cute. Like an articulated baby gargoyle. That just like so much fun. Now she's actually too big to fit fully inside the egg. So if you do want to fit her into the egg, you will have to physically pop her legs and arm off and just yeah, like put her in there like that. But um, otherwise, she's not going to fit inside the egg. At least not good enough that you can close the egg anyway. Oh yeah, she also has this cute little tail that is also on a ball joint. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Speaking of egg, this is something that I am a little bit perplexed about, or maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't know the show good enough to understand how this works, or maybe I'm just thinking too much into it. But this is the size of the egg. This is adult Angela. How how does this work? The egg is almost the size of her torso. How would a gargoyle get that out of their you know what? Like how would this even get out of their body? Like I said, I'm probably thinking too much into it, or maybe when the egg first come out, it's really small, and then gradually grow bigger and bigger. I don't know. I maybe some of you who know how it works on the show can let me know in the comment section. I'm just saying that egg seems way too big. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Um, Anyway, not going to think too much on that because it's a little disturbing. Uh, let's talk about the figure. Okay. First thing first, I'm going to register one major complaint about the hair. As many people have mentioned this before, these gargoyles they have long hair, or some of them do, and these hair block their wings, and the wings push the hair up, so they are looking down all the time. Their hair is looking down all the time. So when I first found that Angela's hair actually has bandy wire inside, okay, see, you can bend it. When I first found that the hair had bandy wire inside, I was actually really happy. I was like, wow, okay, so they finally found a way to fix that. They finally find a way so you can pose the hair so it's out of the way. And then what happened? When I went to pose, when I put the wings on, and I went to pose her hair, the bandy wire close to the head broke. So now this is no longer going to hold a pose. The bottom part of the hair still work. The bandy wire is still strong there, but the top part of the hair near the base of the skull, that wire broke right as I used it. So good thought, but uh, maybe durability need to get worked on a little bit. Honestly, I don't think any NECA people will ever watch my video. I'm not uh, popular enough to warrant their time. But if anyone can tell them, like honestly, get articulation on the hair, like a lot of the what do you call it, like figure arts. A lot of the Japanese figures, they have articulated hair that will solve that problem and don't have to mess with bandy wire in the hair that will break the first time you use them. Okay, so that is my biggest complaint with Angela. Is the the bandy wire was a good idea, but it didn't last. Other than that, Angela is really quite a generic uh, gargoyle in the way she's articulated. She got double jointed knees, double jointed elbow, ball joint, neck, swivel, hinge, shoulders, legs, and all that stuff. So nothing really new or groundbreaking there. The wings can move up and down and back and forth. They're still really big and hard to pose properly sometimes. So yes, so those of you who complain about the wings, they're still going to be an issue. Bandy wire in the tail. Hopefully, this is not going to break. Um, After messing with quite a few of these gargoyles, I'm starting to really think that uh, I wish they have uh, butterfly joints. I wish they have more crunch in the torso because as much as I love gargoyles, it's really hard to get them into any cool poses. Like you can get a couple cool poses out of them, but the nature of their design, they're back heavy. So a lot of time you're fighting that balance a lot when you're posing them, and the lack of butterfly joints, the lack of a good deep crunch means well they can't really squat down that good. So I kind of wish they are articulated a bit better, because after messing around with so many of them, it kind of started to get a bit boring. Um, anyway, that's just me. Maybe some people are better at posing them and don't have that problem. Now, what I'll say is if you look at the way the body shape of Angela here, and I know she's not supposed to be like human. She's like a gargoyle, so she have inhuman proportion and all that. But look at the muscles on the arms and leg and how thick her thighs are and her, yeah, like honestly, I wish more companies would make figures with this proportion, female figures with this proportion. Uh, like I'm, I'm so impressed with the way her body shape is. Like too many figures are like that supermodel, skinny, like that kind of body you see in Hasbro, Marvel Legends all the time, in GI Joe all the time, and uh, we don't see exaggerated musculature on female figures. I mean, yeah, there's She-Hulk, but that's just She-Hulk. um, so yeah, I will say I'm really pleased at the body shape and the contours of her muscles and her curves and all that. Now, I did say most of her body is the same as Demona. I actually haven't even opened my Demona action figure yet, but from my understanding, is the only difference between Angela and Demona is the upper body, the head, and the skirt are different. So the arms and leg and wings and all that stuff will be the same. Oh, and one more thing. I don't know if you guys caught the profile view. Let me move her wings out of the way. She got this cute little earring in her ear. And I think those are actually real metal, if I'm not mistaken. So that's actually pretty cool too. Um, a lot of time we have complained about McFarlane Toys giving us those useless uh, action figure stands, even though they don't really need them. So um, a lot of us end up with a big Ziploc bag or a big pail full of those stands. Well, I kind of feel that NECA should include a stand with each gargoyle because these gargoyles are a pain and a half to keep standing unless you want them to always use their tail as a third point of contact. But sometimes the tail moves, sometimes they overbalance because of their wings, and it just would be so much better if they come with a flight stand each. Um, I personally speaking, I can do without some of those extra hands if I can get a flight stand to support them. That would be one thing I wish to see with the Gargoyles line. Now, we are going to look at some size comparison and group shot where Demona, Angela, uh, get it? Her mom is Demon A, Demona, and her daughter is Angel A, Angela. Yeah, fun. Um, so we're going to look at some group shot where we'll see Angela with her husband or mate, Broadway, and her dad, Goliath, and also some fun shots of she posed with other 7-inch scale female figures, primarily Harley Quinn and Catwoman by McFarlane Toys. And then we'll see a couple of fun shots where uh, 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 Angela get to beat up on some Marvel Legends. And of course, we'll also do our end of the video note. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you for checking out today's video. I've said it many times in the past. At this $30 to $40 price point, it is really hard to beat the kind of work NECA is doing, especially with the Gargoyles. I mean, you're getting a really large action figure with multiple hands, multiple heads or faces, giant wings, and cool accessories for $37. That is just really, really cool.